for connecting with us in this 90 minutes skill development program, which has 3 objectives. By the way, I would like to confirm first whether I'm audible enough or not. Am I audible enough?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Yes. So as I was saying that there are 3 objectives of this SDP, or what you call skill development program, and it must be visible to you on your screen. The first objective is how to check pronunciations of English words in Cambridge Dictionary by learning 44 English speech sounds. By the way, I'm not any brand ambassador for Cambridge Dictionary, but I'm recommending this dictionary because I find them very qualitative in terms of their pronunciations, which they have given in the form of British as well as American accent. So I have given you here link also, so you should keep it handy, because you may feel like referring to this dictionary time and again. So, and the second objective is how English words are pronounced. Here I have given you 2 examples. One is information and one is informative. I have also divided this word into 4 syllables. Information. And the second one is informative. Now, it's noteworthy here that you see in the first one, we give stress on the syllable may, information. But in the second word, we are giving stress not on may, rather on for, informative. We don't say informative, like information. So now the question is why? Why do we give stress on may in information, and why do we give stress on for in informative? So in terms of why, we will study at least 9 to 10 rules under second objective. Then we will see how to pronounce words correctly in English sentences. So we shall learn, these 3 aspects of language in an interactive manner. You can respond to any question or ask any question using your chat box. So now let's move further. When we talk about pronunciation in general, or the importance of English pronunciation, what comes to your mind? The very first thing that comes to your mind is whether your English pronunciation is up to mark or not. When we learn a language, we learn mainly 3 things of that language. Number 1 is vocabulary. Number 2 is structure, or what you call grammar, in which you learn how words are combined together to write or to speak a meaningful sentence. And number 3 is pronunciation, which in my view is perhaps the most important component of mastering a language. You may be very good at grammar. You may have large vocabulary also. But if you don't have right pronunciation or good pronunciation, believe me, you cannot become a good communicator. Now, here I should also add that right pronunciation or good pronunciation does not mean you should sound like an American or a Britisher or a South African or like an Australian. No. Then what you should sound like? The answer is you should sound intelligible. I'm saying intelligible, not intelligent. You should sound intelligible. So what intelligible means here? Intelligible or intelligibility here means comprehensible or understandable, or your capability of being understood by others. If you speak to a person in English and he or she is able to understand you, then I can say you are intelligible. For instance, I hope I'm also intelligible to you because whatever I'm speaking, you are understanding them easily or without any difficulty. On the other hand, if somebody speaks English with faulty pronunciation, we feel irritation and ask the person to repeat what he or she said. One of the main reasons of using wrong pronunciations in English is English words are not pronounced the way they are written. In this regard, speakers of languages like Sanskrit, Hindi, Spanish, and many other Indian languages are really fortunate because they don't have to learn pronunciation additionally. But English, being English, is somewhat weird in terms of pronunciations. For example, here I have listed some words for you which are not pronounced the way they are written. Hmm. Now let's begin with the first word. The first word, if I'm not exposed to English, maybe I will pronounce this word as nature. Hmm. But it is not nature, it is nature. But how do you get this knowledge that this is nature is not nature, it is nature? This knowledge comes from what? It comes from your knowledge of phonetics and phonology, hmm, which we will discuss later. Just I'm giving you some examples as fun with weird pronunciation. Similarly, the second word is not mature, it is mature. Hmm. Then it is not niche, it is niche. I have also given you these pronunciations. If you check your Cambridge dictionary, you will find these pronunciations. Similarly, it is not kache, it is cash. Similarly, it is not sachet, it is sachet. Hmm. Similarly, if you see, again, weird pronunciations you will see here. You see here in index number 3, you have OUGH. Hmm. Now, it's very strange. There is no clue why OUGH in, DAW is pronounced as O, but OUGH in tough, it is not O, it is UF. Hmm. So we don't have any clue for that. So I can give you a number of examples just for fun. It is laughter, but you have the same pattern. We don't say daughter, we say daughter. Hmm. So you see here, AUGH. It becomes once, off, and in the second word, it becomes O. Again, there is no clue why B sound is silent in index number 5 in sandwich and Wednesday. Hmm. Again, there is no clue why K or what K sound or K, the letter K is doing, in these words, like no, knee, knob, etc. So is the case in sign, align, foreign. Then again, you see L sound is silent in talk, almond, half. We don't say talk or almond or half. Hmm. So again, see a number of weird pronunciations I have for you. Hmm. Again, in index number 11, if you see CUT is cut, but it is not put in PUT. It is put. But there is no rule for this. So is the case in index 12. Similarly, if you see index number 13, Gauge, one may pronounce it wrongly as gauge. Similarly, one can say budget, but it is not gauge, it is gauge. It is budget. It is not change, it is change. Similarly, there is no clue why sure becomes j sound in leisure and measure. But you see, in censure, it is not j sound, it is sure. Again, you see index number 15, one can pronounce it like, mortgage, but it is not mortgage, it is mortgage. And so is the case, in detente. And here again, I feel very surprised why English language has given you, like I sound, single letter I for I. I'm not talking of this EYE, but why not one letter for you? It could have given you one U, but no, you are writing YOU. Similarly, you see, I think here it's enough, Q. You could have written single letter Q, but you write QUEUE. QAUA. What is that? But I'm not going to question English language. That's why I said in the very beginning that this is little weird in terms of pronunciation. So we have to learn it. There is no any other way out. You have to learn it. But how to learn it? For that, now we are going further. Well, now this slide, the reason I'm showing you this slide, which is visible to you, is we learn English pronunciation. Why? The reason is one letter, like you have one letter here, A. But you see here, this letter is pronounced differently. Here I have given you 8 different pronunciations of simply A. If you see the first example, A, which you write in writing, it becomes O, as in all, talk, award. But in the second examples, you see, it becomes R, as in dark, star. By the way, again, here you have R sound is silent. I hope many of you must be aware of this rule, that if R is followed by any consonant, then R becomes silent. Or if R comes at the end of any word, then again R sound is silent. That's why I'm pronouncing it as dark, star. And the same thing you'll find in your Cambridge dictionary also. Then A also becomes O, as in watch, wallet. Then A again becomes A, as in cat, rat, mat, bag. Then again you have one interesting phenomenon where A gets silent, as in secretary. A after T or A between T and R, this A gets silent. Secretary, military, basically, automatically. You can check it in your dictionary. You will not find this A sound there. Similarly, A sound, you see in the next example, it becomes a sound. They call it in language study Schwa vowel. So here A becomes a, as in about, agree, account, a game. Then A also becomes A sound, A, as in education, game, name, late, data. And A also becomes, in the last example, you see, a sound, as in language, village. So those who are not familiar with the terms of phonetics and phonology, they can see in this slide that phonetics and phonology are those branches of linguistics in which we study the sound system or phonemes or the sounds of any language in general or in particular. Then taking you further, because I don't want to take you into the technicality of linguistic jargons, rather, I'll take you to the crux of this SDP. So taking you further, let me also say that we study a language, at different levels, which you can see. I have started with phoneme. Phoneme is the smallest unit of language. Phoneme is single sound, like p, b, t, d. These are phonemes. Then we have morpheme. What is morpheme? Morpheme is larger than phoneme. And larger than morpheme is word. Larger than word is phrase. Larger than phrase is clause. Larger than clause is sentence. Larger than sentence is paragraph. Larger than paragraph is discourse. And larger than discourse is text. So text is the largest unit and phoneme is the smallest unit of a language. Here I would also like to show you another slide with examples for better understanding. So if you see this visual, you can understand that an entire book, if you hold a book in your hand, the entire book can be seen in the form of text. But when you break that book into different chapters, they will be your, different discourses. And if you further break your discourse, it takes the form of paragraphs. When you break a paragraph, you get sentences. And when you break a sentence, you get clause or clauses. And when you break a clause, you get phrases. And when you break a phrase, you get words. And when you break a word, you get morphemes. Like here you have seen, I have given you this example which has come out of right from text, discourse, paragraph, sentence, clause, phrase, word to morpheme level. So here you have morpheme which has 4 syllables. Unfaithfulness. Thus in the word unfaithfulness, you have 11 phonemes or 11 sounds if you break it further, which I have mentioned as phoneme. So phoneme cannot be broken further. Remember that. Now, because I have given you some background, knowledge. And after this background knowledge, we shall learn 3 things, as I said in the very beginning. So first we will identify, 44 phonemes or sounds of English. Secondly, we shall learn how to pronounce words. And thirdly, we shall learn how to pronounce sentence in English. Now it's time to learn 44 speech sounds of English. But prior to that, let me ask you, how do you produce any speech sounds? So to produce any speech sounds, what do you need? You need to have air in your lungs. Then we compress the air in our lungs and the air is pushed upwards through the vocal cords. You can see in this visual, I have given you this visual. Yeah. So while passing through the vocal cords, the air is modulated by the opening and closure of the vocal cords, resulting into 2 types of sounds. One is voiced and one is voiceless. Okay. By the way, let me just tell you very briefly the difference between voiced and voiceless sounds. if you have two pair of sounds like p and b, p is voiceless and b is voiced. Why p is voiceless? Because in the production of p sound, your vocal cords do not vibrate. But in the production of voiced sounds like b, your vocal cords vibrate. So we will see these technicalities, later on. So after passing through the vocal cords, the air comes out of your mouth or your nose, resulting into production of speech sounds, which is manifested through this visual. Now, these speech sounds are symbolized. As I said, you have 44 sounds in English. In writing, you have 26, but in speech, you have 44. So these speech sounds are symbolized by the International Phonetic Alphabet, or IPA, which are used to write pronunciations in a good dictionary of English like Cambridge, Oxford, Longman, etc. So I'll take you to the 44 sounds and I'll give you very quick drill, because then I'll move to more interesting part of this SDP. So here you have 44 sounds. If you see, you have 24 consonants and 20 vowels. I'm just giving you 1 minute just to have a feel of how these, sounds have been arranged. Well, so we have 20 vowels and 24 consonants. Let's try to, practice very quickly. First, we have 12 pure vowels and 8 glide vowels. In pure vowels, we have the first vowel sound is A. That is smallest, small E sound. Small E sound. Its length is smaller than the longer E. So A as in hit. Then E, I colon. That is long E sound, as in heat. I have also given you here pronunciations for each word, which you can check or cross-check in your dictionary of some standard. Then you have small O sound, as in good. Then long U, as in food. Then E, as in bed. Then long sound. Why I'm giving you this, practice? Because you need to understand, otherwise it will be very difficult for you to understand how to pronounce any word by looking at your dictionary. Unless you know how to pronounce these 44 sounds, it's very difficult to understand the right pronunciation of any English word. Okay. So in bird, we have long sound, bird. Then we have a sound, as in about, that upside down E. Then we have O, as in walk. Then we have a sound, as in hat, a. Then we have cup, cup. It's not cup, cup, upside down V. Then you have a sound, as in dark. Then you have O, as in hot. Then let's move to glide vowels. We have first glide vowel is, by the way, let me tell you that in Indian English, we do not use glide vowels. We replace them, by pure vowels. Anyway, but we need to be intelligible enough because we are living in global village today, where we need to interact with our global counterparts in day-to-day use. So A sound, the first glide vowel is A, as in say. Second is I, as in buy. Third is oi, as in boy. Fourth is O, as in go. Fifth is ow, as in cow. Sixth is ear, as in near. Seventh is air, as in fair. And eighth is oor, as in tour. Now let's come to 24 consonant sounds. The first one is p, p, as in pen. B, as in book. T, as in table. D, as in dog. K, as in king. G, as in girl. Ch, by the way, this symbol again is very weird, but you have to remember this is pronounced as ch, as in chair. Then again, this is a weird sound, D and Z kind of. So this is pronounced as j, judge. Then f, fat. V, van. Th, this is th sound, as in thing. Then the sound, there. This symbol again you need to remember. Then s, as in sun. Z, as in zero. Then this is again remarkable. Sh, sh, as in ship. Then j, as in vision. Then h sound, as in hot. L, as in light. M, as in man. N, as in new. And this sound is pronounced as ng, as in king. Then you have w sound, as in wet. And r is pronounced as r, as in river. And this j is not j, it is pronounced as y, as in you. And I have also given you some distinction. I have already told you the distinction between voiced and voiceless sounds. But let me tell you very quickly that all the vowel sounds are by default, voiced sounds. And I have highlighted, these sounds in red. They are voiced sounds. The remaining are voiceless sounds. Well, with that, I'll move to the very interesting part of your SDP, that is word stress. Now, what is word stress? In everyday life, we have n number of stress on our mind, So that is also kind of stress. Stress means what? You have pressure. But here, pressure is not on your mind. Rather, we are talking of pressure on syllables of your word. So word stress is the degree of emphasis or loudness with which a syllable is pronounced in a word. For your reference, I have defined also what is word. A word is made up of one or more than one syllable. And what is syllable? By the way, syllable is a unit of pronunciation that comes in three forms. It can be either VC, that is vowel plus consonant, CV, consonant plus vowel, or CVC, consonant plus vowel plus consonant. Now let's take some example here. The first example I have given you for CVC, that is book. Book. Now, in case of like book, this is monosyllabic. You have one syllable. So if you have a word of one syllable, then there is no question of where to put stress. You don't have to worry about where to put stress. You just have to put it, high to low pitch. Okay, book. And that's why I have written like this. Your emphasis goes down. Then you have like before. Before, why I have written like this? Because you have two syllables here. One is CV, and again you have CV, before. So you have to put stress on for. We don't say before. We say before. But we will see why. That Y part will come next. Then just now I said that why do you say information and why do you say informative? So these things will come, but here just I have shown you the composition of syllables. There are three possibilities in which a syllable may come. One is CV, one is VC, and one is CVC. Let's move further. I'll take you to some rules now. Yeah, word stress rule 1. Now this rule says that if a word starts with weak prefix, put stress on the root word. If a word starts with weak prefix, put stress on the root word. For example, I have given you here these examples. You see, all these, syllables which are highlighted in blue, they are getting stress. We are not putting stress on weak prefix, that is A or B or D or re or pre or X. We are putting stress on root word. So root word is cross, part, loan, mount, twin, develop, reduce, sent, port. So when you pronounce, I have also used these diacritic markers of stress. So you will pronounce with me. You say after me, no matter it is audible to me or not, don't worry about that. But you can pronounce the way I am pronouncing: a cross, a part, alone, amount, between, develop, reduce, present, export. So this was rule number 1. Now let's move to rule number 2. What this rule says? This rule says if a bisyllabic means when you have 2 syllables. If a bisyllabic word is noun or adjective or compound noun, put stress on the first syllable. So when you divide these words into syllables, you see what are the first syllables? In case of table, you have to put stress on take. Why? Because the rule says that when you have bisyllabic word, and if that word is noun or adjective or compound noun, so table is your noun, football is again your noun, toothpaste is your compound noun like keyboard, then again you have adjective like clever. So you see, in all these words you are giving stress on first syllable, not on the second syllable. We will not say clever, keyboard, happy. No, not like that. Table, football, toothpaste, rainy, clever, keyboard, happy, sample. Let's move to this third rule then. Yeah. Here you are. Now this rule says that if a word ends with suffixes like tion, by the way, this rule is highly generalized. Once you remember it, it will come in use greatly. So it says that if a word ends with suffixes like tion, cian, sion, ic, ical, ial, tial, ment. So these are suffixes. Why these are suffixes, by the way? They are suffixes because they come at the end of any root word. Prefix comes before the root word and suffix comes after the root word. So these are your suffixes. So if you have any of these suffixes, what will you do? You will put stress on the syllable which comes immediately before these suffixes. So you see here, all these, blue highlighted syllables are taking stress. We are not giving stress anywhere. We are giving stress on the syllable which comes before these suffixes. Hmm. See, these things may sound a little mechanical to you, but slowly, it becomes instinctive, natural. Maybe after a couple of weeks, once you practice this, it will become very natural. So let's practice with me. For the shun, application, examination, qualification, then with shun. Electrician, musician, politician, physician, grammatical, theoretical, philosophical, arrangement, encroachment, excitement, patriotic, scientific, specific, characteristic, ceremonial, industrial, congenial, official, essential, confidential, differential, commission, admission, resistible, impossible, terrible. So I used stress on the syllable that comes immediately before these suffixes. I hope it's clear to you. Otherwise, I'll take your questions maybe in the last 10 minutes. Well, I'll move to the next rule. That is word stress rule 4. What does this rule say? This rule says that if a word has 3 syllables ending with suffixes like ly, er, ful, ness, then what will you do? You will put stress on the first syllable, like orderly, quietly, happily, manager, easier, beautiful, faithfulness, powerful. So I'm giving stress on what? On the first syllable, because the rule says that if a word has 3 syllables ending with these suffixes, any of these suffixes, then you have to put stress on the first syllable. Well, I think I should move further. Yeah. Well, this rule is again very interesting and easy to remember also. It says that you have to put stress on the third syllable from the end if a word ends with suffixes like ty, ous, tive, gy. Now I'll pronounce these words for you. Activity. Why I'm giving stress on T? Because if you count from the end, T is the third one from the end. Because your rule says that put stress on the third syllable from the end if a word ends with suffixes like ty, ous, tive, and gy. So let us practice the remaining. Possibility. We will say possibility, necessity, commodity, industrious, laborious, injurious, informative. Now you have got this reason. In the beginning, I told you that why should we give stress on for in case of informative, and why should we give stress on may in case of information? So now you have got the answer, that if the word ends with tiv, then you have to give stress on the third syllable from the end. So that's why for is taking stress. Informative, superlative, psychology, phonology. I'll move further. Yeah, word stress rule 6. This rule is comparatively easier to remember. Why? Because in this rule, you just have to give stress on the first syllable if the word ends with suffixes like ate or able. Hmm. For example, complicate. We will not say complicate. You have to give stress on complicate, cultivate, educate, fortunate, indicate, separate, knowledgeable, manageable, doable, livable, breakable, watchable. Hmm. So you can go for this drill when you're free. With this, I'll move to the next rule. Yeah. Now, this rule is again interesting for the reason that here you have to simply remember the V5 or plural forms. V5 and plural forms are usually, formed by adding S or ES at the end of the root verb or noun. In such cases, there are three pronunciations of S or ES. When you have S or ES at the end of any word, then S or ES will be pronounced as what? It will be pronounced in three forms, either S or Z or as. When it will be S, the condition is after voiceless sound. Now you remember I had told you that which sounds are voiceless sounds and which sounds are voiced sounds. So here, if you check the condition of sir, if you see, S or ES becomes sir after voiceless sound, as in waits, sleeps, books, caps. Why? Because if you see the root word wait, what is the last sound? T. What is the last sound in sleep? P. What is the last sound in book? K sound. And in cap, it is P sounds. So this T, P, K, P, these sounds are voiceless sound. That's why whenever you have S or ES after these sounds, or you can say voiceless sounds, then S or ES is pronounced as S. That's why we say waits, sleeps, books, caps. But again, the same S or ES becomes Z if it comes after voiced sound. For example, in open, the last sound is N. In give, the last sound is V. In boy, the last sound is Y. And in the fourth one, the last sound is G. And all these, sounds are voiced sounds. That's why here we will not say opens, we will not say gives, we will not say boys, we will not say dogs. What we will say? Opens, Z, gives, boys, dogs. And the third pronunciation of S or ES is as. But when? The condition is if S or ES comes after S or S, Z, Sh, Ch, J. As in passes. After pass, you have ES, passes, washes, watches, judges, buses, wishes, watches, wages. So these are, few, rules to remember. I have also given you here, different forms of verbs so that you should not confuse what is V5, what is V4. Because even the next rule will talk about V2 form. Yeah. Yeah, the way we saw, S or ES becomes S, Z, S. Similarly, when you use D or ED, then D or ED is pronounced in three different forms. One is T, one is D, and one is ed. Yeah. So first you read the rule. It says that V2 or past simple or V3 past participle form of regular verb is usually formed by adding D or ED after a root verb. In such cases, there are three pronunciations of D or ED. Now let us see the conditions. What is the condition here? D or ED becomes T after voiceless sound, as in walked. We don't say walked or hoped. We say walked. By the way, don't pronounce here as the sound. Don't say walked. It's walked. The sound. The. Why? Because ed is coming after voiceless sound, and k is voiceless sound. Similarly, in hope, per sound is voiceless. So walked, hoped, faxed, watched, asked, laughed, washed, liked. Then D or ED becomes the after voiced sound, as in opened, dubbed, played, allowed, begged. And D or ED becomes ed if it comes after T or D or after T or D sound, as in waited, wanted, wedded, ended, and so on. Well, with this, I'll move to the next rule, because I promised you that I'll talk about 9 rules. In fact, there are about 25 rules, but given the time constraint, I will not cover all of them. So the rule number 9, it says that if a word is used as a noun, put stress on the first syllable, whereas the stress will be on the second syllable if the same word is used as a verb. Again, it's very interesting. You see here, first we are using these words as noun, object. So how you will pronounce it? You will pronounce it as object. You have to give stress on ob. Why? The reason is there in your rule, that if a word is used as a noun, so here we are using it as a noun, that's why we are giving stress on the first syllable. But if the same word is used as verb, then we will shift the stress on the second syllable. We say object. As verb, what we say? Object. Like, for example, if I say, I object to what you say. Similarly, the second example, you say progress. When you use this word in a sentence, you have to give stress on the first syllable if it is used as a noun. So, but if the same word is used as verb, it is progress. You have to progress a lot in your life. Then record, but in verb, record. As noun, present, but as verb, present. So the distinction has been given in the form of highlighted blue color. Blue color shows your stress. Well, with that, we will move to, sentence stress, because in word stress, we saw where to put, stress, or which syllable should be stressed in a word. But in sentence stress, we are going to see which word should be stressed more in comparison with other words. So, by the way, sentence stress is also called intonation. And what is intonation? Intonation is variation in the pitch of your voice in terms of rising and falling tone to distinguish more prominent and less prominent part of your speech. Here again, we will see some rules. Let me check the time, by the way. We have. Yeah. So rule 1 says that use rising tone for open words and falling tone for closed words. Now, what is this open words and closed words, by the way? Let me tell you very briefly that open words are semantic words. And closed words, in your traditional grammar, you must have seen open words are nothing but, content words. Like your noun, verb, adjective, adverb, these are open words. But your closed words are your structure words. Like your preposition, conjunction, article, etc. So here what you need to remember that you have, the rule says that use rising tone for open words and falling tone for closed words. Now you see I have marked with arrow. Yeah. So when you read this sentence, how will you read? The rule says that you have to use rising tone for open words and falling tone for closed words. So how will you read it? Will you sell my car because I'm going to France? So I'm giving stress on open words only, not on closed words. Well, I hope it's clear. Otherwise, we'll take this during our interactive session also. Well, rule 2. Rule 2 says that primary and secondary auxiliary verbs can be stressed if they get emphasis in an assertive sentence, as in, it can be done. Because just now we saw that it says that closed words should not be stressed. But here, this rule says primary and secondary auxiliary verbs can be stressed if they get emphasis in an assertive sentence, as in, it can be done. It has been done. Similarly, the rule 3 is for emphasis, you can put stress on a word which you want to make most important. So here you have same sentence, but with different emphasis. I like kids. So I'm giving stress on kids. Why? Because I may, however, dislike men or women. Then in the second sentence, you are giving stress or emphasis on your emotion. I like kids. But in the third one, you say, I like kids. Maybe my brother is not very fond of them. So here you see that whatever words you have, of importance or prominence, that you can emphasize depending on what you want to accentuate. Well, I think we are coming closer to our, this SDP. Well, this rule, here we have, some rising tone and falling tone rules. Rising tone, when we use rising tone, so here again, I have given you some 4 conditions in incomplete utterances. Your utterances are not complete. For example, if you say, it's 7 o'clock. Maybe you want to say further that she hasn't got up yet, or he hasn't got up yet. The house is empty and has been for years. The water is warm. Why don't you come and take bath? Then you have second condition in questions. You can use rising tone, which demand yes or no answer. Are they coming? Will you do it? You see, I have used this upward arrow just to show, rising tone. Have you seen my younger brother? Then in questions asked in a warm, friendly manner. How's your mother? Why didn't you come and see me? What time is it? And again, in polite requests, you can use rising tone. Would you open the window? Please sit down. Then falling tone you can use in some circumstances, like in ordinary statements made without emotional implications. It's 7 o'clock. We are falling our tone. It's 7 o'clock. The house is empty. The water is warm. Because we are not using any emotional implications here. Then in unfriendly questions, which begin with WH question words. Why did you do it? Whose bag is this? What are they talking about? Then in commands, do as I say. Come here. Go over there. Then in exclamation also you can use, what a surprise. So nice of you. So these are, some conditions for using rising and falling tone. Well, this is the last part. If time permits, then I can take up this also. Gradation. Although I was not, keen on taking this, but very briefly, I'll tell you about gradation also. Well, gradation is something which is not used in, I will say, Indian English. But you should be aware of gradation. Gradation means a single word. A single word in English may have two pronunciations, as weak form and strong form. In this regard, there are some noteworthy facts. The first one is weak form usually comes medially in a sentence, whereas strong form occurs either initially or finally in a sentence. Now let's take some example, like of weak form. The first sentence is, I'm going home. So you see here, we are not using strong form because am is coming in the middle of the sentence and its pronunciation is But when you use it as strong form, then it is am. Am I very late? Am I very late? I'm reading in the second part, strong form. And again, you see in the weak form, so am I. So am I. We don't say, so am I. So normally, as I said, that in Indian English, we do not use this gradation or the distinction between weak form and strong form. But at least we should be aware of these distinctions just to be, intelligible enough, while talking to native speakers. So it's useful, in terms of they can understand you better or you can understand them better, when are they using weak form or strong form. So these examples are there. And I think I can read for you, but I think it's better to take, some questions. So I would like to request the organizer to give permission to our participants so that they could raise any questions they can ask also. Or
Yes, sir,
if they-
also.
Yeah.
The session is open for discussion now. You can post your questions in the chat box or you can unmute and directly interact with the resource person.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you all.
In this webinar, I can see many of our faculty members are also there from Amity University. And I think many of them are teaching, communication skills also. So, wait a minute. एक मिनट यहाँ पे ना वो जरा दिखा दो मुझे पार्टिसिपेंट का लिस्ट. Well, yeah, thank you. Yes, so I was saying that many of our faculty members, I saw they have also joined, who are teaching communication skills. So I think I would like to know from them whether are they using this kind of word stress rules or sentence stress rules in their physical classroom, or anybody. Yes, Dr. Shraddha, I think you want to say something.
Yes, so very nice presentations. Today I got to know there are so many exceptions in English rule. But sir, gradation, I fail to understand the weak form and the strong form that you've written. So kindly explain the gradation once more.
No, gradation, deliberately I stopped there because I said that in Indian English, we do not encourage, gradation much, That's why, I think this is not the right stage, Gradation maybe I can take, in a separate lecture, because that is very tricky,
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So very nice presentation, sir.
Thank you. But I would like to hear from somebody who is teaching, English language. Yeah, Esther Amir is saying thank you. You're all welcome. Ramdas Sonar, excellent presentations. Thank you, Ramdas ji. Thank you. Let me also check the chat box if something is there. No, it is all appreciation. I need some question. I want some questions from my participants. I don't want appreciation, my dear participants. Dr. Suri, I think you must be having a volley of questions. Dr. Suri is not around. I saw her sometime.
So she had a class right now. So she
Okay. She left here. Okay. Yeah, Dr. Suri.
ಮಿರ್ಚಿ ತಗೊಂಡ್ ಬಾರು ಅಂದೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ ಇದು ಫೈಲಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅವನು ಹೊಟ್ಟೋಣ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಪಪ್ಪನೇ ಮಾಡೋದು ಪಪ್ಪನ ಕರಿಬೇಕು.
Yes, I think
ಒಂದು ರೌಂಡ್ ಹೊರಟು ಬರ್ತೀಯಾ?
So there's something in the chat.
Sir, can you classes?
the voice is full.
Sir, can you communicate classes?
Ma'am, I'm not able to listen to you properly. Why is it? Dr. Shraddha, you said something, some question was there?
So this is a question from Sujata ma'am, sir. She was asking, can you take communicative classes?
Can I take communicative classes? Okay, for whom? Yes, for whom? Dr.
Sujata,
Sujata, who will be my target learners? Dr. Sujata? Yeah, Dr. Sujata has asked, can you take communicative classes? But communicative classes are meant for different levels of learners. So I would like to know which level of learners is she talking about? Because we
Sir.
have, yes,
spoken English for our students who are from Kannada medium.
Kannada medium. Okay, okay. And what is the age, which age group do they belong to?
Undergraduates.
Uh-huh. Okay. So I need to understand first the needs, because unless I know the needs of those learners, I cannot use any particular pedagogy, because the reason is we cannot use one curriculum for all the learners. We have different curriculum or different curricula for different levels of learners. So we will have to see, we have to run some kind of diagnostic tests. Which level do they belong to? So if somebody is at elementary level, we have different courses. If somebody is at intermediate level, we have different curriculum. If somebody is at somewhat advanced level, we have different curriculum. So that I'll have to see. As far as teaching learning is concerned, definitely we all are available very much, because we are in academia and we have to, serve our this academic community, no matter whoever or wherever they are. Yes, ma'am.
Sir, kindly share your mail ID, sir. Sujata ma'am is asking for your mail ID.
Mail ID I had already shown, in the beginning of my presentation. But if you wish, definitely I can share in the chat box. Well, I have shared my email ID. One is my official email ID, skjha@ggn.amity.edu. And the second is my personal, that is drskj@gmail.com.
Thank
So
you, sir.
I can be accessed on any of these email IDs. Yes, ma'am. Anybody, anything in particular? Please feel free. I'm not going to give any marking, to any of you. So
Good afternoon, sir. This is Dr. Sapna here.
yeah, good afternoon, ma'am. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. Once again, thank you so much, sir, for your enriching session. As always, I would say, because always there is so much to learn from you.
Thank you.
And this time also, we really enjoyed the session. And I think all the participants from all parts of India, I think they must have something in their kitty, and they are taking some valuable, information from you. Thank you so much, sir, for everything.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, I can see Vinod Sharma is there.
Good afternoon, sir.
Very
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir. It was very nice and informative sessions. I'm sure okay, this will be a helping side for the students who want to qualify IELTS exams, because they are very much very particular regarding the pronunciations also. And so once again, I'm extremely thankful for the participants and for your nice sessions. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Vinodji. Thank you. In fact, I tried my best to use, minimum linguistic jargons because, had it been like, 3-4 hours, workshop, I could have, used all the appropriate jargons. But in a short period of time, we had to think of, various essential things first, But definitely in future, maybe we can interact and we can have better or meaningful learning. Mhm. Gan- Ghanshyam Jadhav. Yes, thank you, Ghanshyamji, for your kind words. Anybody, anything, any remarks, good or bad, anything? Because I'm also there to learn from you. It's not that I'm authority of English language.
Any more questions?
Thank you, Suba, for your kind words. I think, ma'am, questions are not there, it seems. Or maybe they are feeling hesitant,
You can post your questions also in the chat box.
Right, right. Because I thought that I should have more, interaction, and that's why I cut down my time of presentation so that I could understand the needs of our participants. Hmm. Now, some Victor M is asking any feedback form to be filled in, ma'am.
Any more questions? You can post your questions also in the chat box.
Mhm.
Shall we wind up, sir, then? Shall we?
Yes, as you say, uh, because if they don't have question, then I could ask many questions to them. But I think Parul Kathuria, can we get the recording of the session?
Yes, sir. We'll be sending you the links.
Okay, okay. So recording will be sent to all the participants. Yeah. Mhm.
Shall we wind up, sir, then?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yeah.
On behalf of IoT Academy, I thank Dr. Sanjay for the interesting and informative session. Thank you for the nice and beneficial presentation, sir. It was an inspirational and enlightening session on the pronunciation techniques. Thank you for giving your valuable time, sir. It's a great honor we have such a great personality as a resource person today. I thank all the participants for joining the session. Thank you so much, sir, and thank you all. Kindly submit the feedback form using the link that has been posted in the chat box.
And many thanks to you, ma'am, for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir. You're welcome, sir.
So may I leave the panel?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for spending your valuable time with us besides your busy schedule. Thank you so much.
And thank you, my dear participants. God willing, we'll meet again. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Kindly submit the feedback form using the link that has been posted in the chat box.